I'm Dr. Sharon Schutz, and I'm sitting here with Sherman Jones, who is running for Constable Precinct 4. And we just had an awesome breakfast.
Oh, absolutely.
This morning. I've never been to the sheriff's breakfast, but I guarantee you, I will be coming in the future.
I think
I will
just
be coming.
the experience itself.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you get to visit so many people that you don't see very often.
Oh, that's
and
what I love about it.
you know, of course, the food's not bad either.
Food was is always outstanding. This was good this morning, but it's always outstanding.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Certainly.
So, you are running for Constable for Precinct 4.
Correct.
And I remember when you were the deputy, the chief deputy.
Chief deputy.
Is that what it was called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Certainly.
tell us a little bit about yourself. First, let's talk about your family.
Okay. Before I do that, I'd certainly like to express my appreciation to you and to Michael for getting out this early this morning and doing this interview for me. I certainly appreciate that. I'd also like to express my appreciation to everyone in Precinct 4. Since I've announced my candidacy, it has been amazing. Mm-hmm. The support and the encouragement and the comments that I've gotten, both talking or conversational, mm-hmm. also telephone, messaging, so forth, so the text and so forth. Yeah. So it's just been a great experience, and I appreciate you as well as I appreciate all the residents in Precinct 4 for supporting me.
We live in a wonderful county.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've been
around
a lot through the years. As my husband was in engineering, and
mm-hmm.
We pastored most of the last 35 years,
mm-hmm.
and so we moved one place or another every 2 to 4 years.
Correct.
And this is the first time we've ever settled down for this long, and we're just so grateful that God put us here in Trinity County.
Amen. I'll tell you what, when he blesses you, he blesses you, and he's given you an opportunity to serve him, and
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the way I look. That's kind of been my life experience also.
Yes.
You asked about my family. I am married. My wife Teresa, and we have one child, mm-hmm. Amanda. We've lived in the place that we live now for 35 years. My family is all from Precinct 4. My dad's were the Joneses. Bill Jones Road is named after him. My mother was from North Cedar Creek, which was up north of Apple Springs. And so my family history mm-hmm. is tied very closely to Trinity County. And so it's very near and dear to me to be able to serve the people, particularly mm-hmm. in our precinct. Like you said and alluded to at the beginning, I did have the experience of being the chief deputy here, where mm-hmm. you had the entire county as your responsibility. Now I'm looking maybe to serve just the people of Precinct 4, primarily. Once again, it's a multi-layer law enforcement here in the county, and so we assist wherever we can. Mm-hmm. Okay. My experience, I went to the police academy a little bit late in life. It was 2011 that I attended the police academy at Hill College in Hillsboro. Mm-hmm. I scored the highest on the state test of the entire class. And so I think that proves my working knowledge of law in Texas. And so that was kind of encouraging. It was a surprise to me, but it was certainly an encouragement to do that. So I did that. I went to work, like I said, for Sheriff Wallace as chief deputy here, and served in that capacity. And now I'm looking to continue mm-hmm. As the constable, if the people so should see.
Constable Casey from Precinct 2 was telling us the other day that the constables, a city police officer is limited by the city limits, the county by the county, but that as a constable, of course, not only do you work with the other law enforcement agencies mm-hmm. in the county, but that you can go to an adjoining county and do things, which I thought was really interesting. That you can actually have a, not authority, I'm trying to find the right word, jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. That you can go to another county and have jurisdiction, in a county close to it or whatever. I thought that was interesting.
The more you're involved in law enforcement, I guess the more you see.
Right.
My position, and I suppose that's what we're here to talk about, is my primary concern is the people in Precinct 4.
Right.
Right. So there's where most of my emphasis would be placed.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
of course.
Understanding And I think that's some things that people don't understand about the constable's position. I don't make hasty decisions. I'm
You
a very
wouldn't
analytical.
strike me as somebody that would
no, ma'am.
make hasty decisions.
I'm very analytical in everything that I do. Obviously, I was given the opportunity while working for the sheriff's office that I worked with the constables, so I know what their day-to-day jobs
Right.
are. We assisted them, and they assisted us. You know, I went outside the county because I wanted to make sure I understood the job
Right.
and what the requirements were and the duties were for the job. So I went outside the county to other counties. The farthest one I went was Gillespie County over at Fredericksburg, and I spoke with a constable over there. I just wanted to see how it varied,
Yeah.
and I found that it was pretty constant. I mean, the job
it?
is yes, ma'am, it really is. I don't know that I found other counties that were as multi-layered as we are here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the people in Trinity County are the safest people in the United States, I believe.
I agree.
And you probably, that might be one thing that kind of draws you to this area, is the safety that's here. And, you know, we have, like, I refer to it as a multi-layer, because we have precinct, we have county, which everybody knows that I'm a great supporter of our sheriff.
Right.
He's done remarkable things here in this county, and he's a great individual. And his passion is to protect the people in this county, the residents of this county. So, you know, it's the job of a constable is just one of those parts. You know, you have the state, and then you also have some federal law enforcement here in the county. We have our national park systems that are here. So,
Well, I hadn't thought about that.
well,
I didn't
and most
realize
people
that.
don't. But I've worked in it. I've been there, and so you'll hear me make that statement many times
Yeah.
as we're out visiting. I've been there. I've done that. And that's a person to me that you can you know what they are, you know about them, and so that's. To me, that's one reason that I feel like I would be good in this position.
Right. So you started in law enforcement in 2011 after taking taking classes, and then you worked with the sheriff's department. Like I
Right.
said,
I
I
started-
remember that's where I met you.
Correct. Yes,
was
ma'am.
when you were working with Woody.
I started in 2013, I think it was.
Yeah.
January.
Now, can you think of anything else I need to get in this before? See, I do the editing, so I'll be able to cut this out.
Been in the county?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been in the county?
Well, he's already told us 35 years in the same house, plus raised in the county. So, I think we pretty much covered it. So,
I would, let me think just a minute, because
go ahead.
I would, I'm trying to think of how to fit that into the the last. Because I want to tell them what my view of a constable, you know what I mean, the things that I bring to the table, and that's at the very end. Is that correct?
Yeah. Then you can speak to people, and in fact, let's go ahead and do that, and then you can say what you feel.
Okay.
I think we've covered just about everything basic, the basics, because that's what people want to know is the basics, who you are.
Confidence, so that helps. You know it, and you thought it out, and you don't stutter and carry.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yes.
No, this is a good interview. It's going to be
Okay.
Okay, so let's. So, Sherman, right now, what I'd like for you to do is turn around and look into the camera and talk to the constituents of Precinct 4 and tell them what you feel like you can bring to the table and what you can do for them as their constable.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sharon, and I appreciate this opportunity also. You know, as I look on the job of constable, I'll have to pause, okay? Because I'm trying to think of a word. So this will need to be, you can edit this much out.
I can edit.
Okay. It's not just experience.
Compassion.
Compassion, yes.
You got families, so you got, I mean, it's life to
Right, and there was a term I was trying to think of as we were talking.
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that has to sit and think about what word I was trying to use.
You know, it's just a single
That's bad
word.
when you do this.
Oh, absolutely. It's just a very simple word, and I can't remember, but it's the actual job or the duties. I'm afraid they're not actually what people thinks the job is. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And I can't think of that word. I thought about it as we were talking earlier, but then it escapes me now as I come to this part. It's not, actually just isn't the term. It's gone now, so I guess the
Well,
Lord,
maybe
the Lord
it just
didn't
wasn't
intend for me
meant
to
to
use it.
be.
You know what I mean? That's very possible. So, okay. So I will, I guess I'll start over.
Yeah. So let's just start over from that entire thing, and
Okay.
I'll say to you again, and then you
Okay.
can turn around, and it can all
Okay.
be fresh and
Okay.
in line with each other.
Okay.
So Sherman, tell us, look into the camera, and tell your constituents, the people that will be voting for you in Precinct 4, what you feel like you can bring to the table and what you can do for them as their constable.
Absolutely, Sharon. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to express how I really feel about the job. I'm a very person that cares a lot about people. I'm a very compassionate person. I'm honest. I try to have the highest integrity. Those things are extremely important to me, and I feel like I possess those. I also possess a working knowledge of what the job of constable is. As I alluded to earlier as Sharon and I spoke, I looked into the job quite a bit before I put my or submitted my application to run, and so I didn't make this decision hastily. I looked at it and I understand what the constable's position really is. The things that I bring to the table, the things that concern me, are schools. School safety is extremely. As a former educator, schools and their faculty, the children and their faculty, are absolutely important to me. That begins at the crosswalk before the children ever enter. That's part of traffic control around the school districts, and so certainly that is one thing. But I go a step further than that. I've been involved. I've been there, and I make that statement quite often. I've been there and I've done that. And so I have in the schools. I've been involved in bomb threats and so forth like that. Where our primary goal, our only goal at that time, is to remove all of the children and to ensure that all the faculty is a safe distance from the building. And so I understand that reality is that's what you do. You go in. I've been to multiple active shooter trainings, and so I understand that aspect of school safety also. I'm a person that believes a lot in what we use sometimes as community policing. I think that constable's position, or the constable, needs to be seen within that precinct. It's not rocket science. It's not reinventing the wheel. Where law enforcement presence is, crime tends to go down. And so simply by traveling and being in the precinct, stopping while you're driving down the road and talking to people, building fence or mowing their yard or whatever. I don't want to interfere with people's lives, but I certainly like to talk. I'm a good conversationalist. I'm a good listener. And I don't listen to people trying to formulate a response. I listen to people because I want to know what's on their mind. I want to know what's going on around, what's happening, what I need to be aware of in terms of law enforcement. And so that's important to me, to be able to patrol. I've looked and I've investigated, so I guess you would say that the budget certainly is funded well in terms of fuel to provide this. And so I think that's something that's extremely important that the constable does. Of course, we're all sworn law enforcement officers, and so that's part of what we do in that precinct. Traffic control, I don't think it's, you can talk to 100 people, and certainly most of them are going to tell you that Highway 94 is an area of concern many times. People passing in no passing zones, excessive speeds. Now, I want to say that we have law enforcement out there already. Our DPS and our Sheriff's Office monitor those roads a lot. I'm just another level in there, so I would be able to do that also. I guess probably just the fact that I care about people carries a lot of weight, in my opinion. I know a lot of people. it's phenomenal. I guess you don't really realize until you run for public office the number of people that you actually know that have called and have texted and so forth, and have met me at gatherings like we were at this morning and other public events around the county, and the encouragement they give is phenomenal. Makes you feel good. It's very humbling, I'll be honest. But I certainly appreciate that. I can't think of a lot. I mean, other than that, and obviously I know and I understand totally that our primary duty is to bailiff the JP Court and to serve the process within the precinct. So I'm going to throw that in there also. I know that that's part of it. I didn't mention it, but I think that kind of goes without saying. The other things are things that are just kind of important to me. People, you're important to me. If you live in Precinct 4, you're just pretty important to me. I go to church at Pennington Baptist Church up at Pennington. I serve my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ right there as a deacon. And I serve the fellowship there also. So that's who I am. I would certainly appreciate your support as we go to the polls in early voting. Don't forget that. That's right around the corner. And then Election Day, obviously, is March 3rd. Realizing that there's 3 of us, and so it's kind of hard to win an election on the first go like that, but it's possible. Otherwise, the election may go till May. I certainly would appreciate your support. Thank you once again, Sharon.